international Srimad-bhagavatam Class. Even though there's maybe not more than one or two people who are watching it. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Ballava Girivardhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Shri Prabhupada ki jai. So, anyone memorize the Sri Upanishad verse yet?
Just the first line.
Oh, that's 25% done. Okay. So we'll start with that. So we'll just chant the Sri Upanishad, the first verse, invocation mantra, and gradually we'll learn the whole verse, and then we'll go on to something else, another verse.
Can I say the verse because I never get a chance to say it?
Of course.
But I have to go back and do my service, so I'll do it real quick. Is that possible?
Sure.
Om Purnam Padana Om Purnam Adaha Punamidam Purna Purnam Udashite Purnasya Purnasava Adhaya Purna Eva Vashishate.
Okay? So, Om, we can chant all together. If we can, this is Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishate Om Purnamadaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnam Eva Vasishate. Now, when I chant it, try to chant it just from hearing with your eyes closed. It's a way of memorizing. Om Purnam Adaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishate. And one more time, same thing. Om Purnam Adaha Purnamidam Purnat Purnam Udachyate Purnasya Purnam Adaya Purnam Eva Vasishate. Anyone want to try the whole thing from memory? No, not yet. It's okay. We'll go to just the translation. I should memorize this also. The personality of Godhead is perfect and complete, and because he is completely perfect, all emanations from him, such as his phenomenal world means the material world, phenomenal world, are perfectly equipped as complete wholes. Whatever is produced of the complete whole is also complete in itself. Because he is the complete whole, even though so many complete units emanate from him, he remains the complete balance. That means spiritual mathematics is 1 plus 1 equals 1 and 1 minus 1 equals 1. Because Krishna is 1. If you add something to Krishna, it's still 1 because Krishna is everything. And if you take something away from Krishna, well, it's still 1 because Krishna is still full. You can't really, if you take Krishna, separate some of Krishna's energy from him, but it's still Krishna. It's still full because it's still his energy. So 1 plus 1, you add something to Krishna, you can't really add something because everything is Krishna. And if you take something away from Krishna, it's still the full Krishna because you can't really take something away from him because he's the complete whole. That way. So that's spiritual mathematics. It won't work in the material world, but spiritually, that's the fact. And Krishna is the complete whole. So what he creates is also complete. So he's created, for example, explaining yesterday, the material universe, and the material universe is complete because it has the basic things we need to live. It has food and air and so many things in the world that are required just for living. And it also is complete because it gives us opportunity to do whatever we want to do according to our desire and according to what we deserve and what we desire, karma. So we can do whatever we want to do here, and then when we are frustrated trying to enjoy like that, then another part of the completeness is that Krishna's also given us the Vedas, right from the beginning. The Vedas are there. He shows us the Vedas. He gives us opportunity to come in contact with a spiritual master like that, and he's given us the full, he's given us the full opportunity to become fully Krishna conscious. So the material world is meant to frustrate us, trying to play God. But there's so much conflict in the world because everyone is a lot of little gods who want to be in the center of everything. So that's our problem here in the material world. But when we finally get frustrated and say, "I've had enough, no more," then he makes it. Let's just come in contact with Guru and Vedic scriptures and opportunity to become Krishna conscious. So that way, the whole universe, all this is inside the universe. So that whatever we desire, and then when we're ready for the next level up, then that's there, and so we can go forward. And ultimately, the purpose of the universe is to help us to become Krishna conscious, so we can go back home, back to the spiritual world. So in that way, Krishna, who is complete, the complete whole, he has given us the universe which is complete, and the ultimate purpose of the universe is to help us develop the desire and to become fully Krishna conscious again, and to go back home, back to Godhead. So in that way, it's a complete cycle. So Krishna is complete like that. Okay, so let's go on to Srimad-bhagavatam. Oh, sorry. So let's do this. Okay. So today we are on Srimad-bhagavatam, 8th Canto, 5th chapter, 27th verse. The chapter is called The Demigods Appeal to the Lord. Vipaschitang pranamano diatmanam Artendriya basam anidram avranam Chayatapo yatra na gridra raksho tam aksharankam triyugam rajamahe Vipaschitang pranamano diatmanam Artendriya basam anidram avranam Chayatapo yatra nagridra paksho Tam aksharankam triyugam vrajamahe Vipaschitang pranamano liatmanam Artendriya basam anidram avranam Chayatapo yatra na gridra Vitra Raksho Tam Aksharam Kang Triyugang Vrajamahe Vipashchitang Prana Manodhyatmanam Archendriya Bhasam Anidram Avranam Chayatpavo Yatra Navidra Rapaksho Tam Aksharam Kang Triyugang Vrajamahe Vipashchitang Prana Manodhyatmanam Archendriya Vasam Anidram Avranam Chayatpato Yatra Nagrinha Paksho To Aksharam Kang Triyugang Vrajamahe Vipashchitam unto the omniscient Prana how the living force is working Manaha how the mind is working Diya how the intelligence is working Atmanam of all living entities Arta the objects of the senses Indriya the senses Abhasam knowledge Anidram always awake and free from ignorance Avranam without a material body subject to pains and pleasures Chaya Attapo the shelter for all who are suffering from ignorance Yatra wherein na not Gridra Gridra Paksho partiality toward any living being Tam unto him Aksharam infallible Come all pervading like the sky Triyugam appearing with 6 opulences in 3 yugas Satya, Treta, and Dwapara Vrajamahe I take shelter The Supreme Personality of Godhead directly and indirectly knows how everything, including the living force, mind, and intelligence, is working under His control. Is that a word? Control ignorance? I'm not sure of that. Strange. He is the illuminator of everything and has, I think something's written wrong here. Let me read it from here. Okay, let's start the translation again. 'Cause the Supreme Personality of Godhead, go ahead,
The Supreme Personality of God,
directly and indirectly,
directly and indirectly,
knows how everything,
knows how everything,
including the living force,
including the living force,
mind and intelligence,
mind and intelligence,
is working under his control.
is working under his control.
He is the illuminator of everything
He is the illuminator of everything,
and has no ignorance.
and has no evil.
He does not have a material body
He does not have a material body,
subject to the reactions of previous activities,
subject to the reactions of previous activities,
and he is free from the ignorance of partiality
and he is free from the ignorance of partiality
and materialistic education.
and materialistic education.
I therefore take shelter of the lotus feet
I therefore take shelter of the lotus feet
of the Supreme Lord,
of the Supreme Lord,
who is eternal,
who is eternal,
all-pervading,
all-pervading,
and as great as great as the sky,
and as great as the sky,
and appears with 6 opulences
and who appears with 6 opulences
in 3 yugas,
and 3 yugas,
Satya, Treta, and Dwapara.
Satya, Treta,
Srila Prabhupada's purport. In the beginning of Srimad-bhagavatam, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is described in this way. Janmajasha yaton vayadi tartas charteshta vigyat swarat. This is from the very first verse of the Srimad-bhagavatam. The Lord is the origin of all emanations, and he directly and indirectly knows everything about all the activities within his creation. Therefore, the Lord is addressed here as Vipashchitam, one who is full of all knowledge or who knows everything. The Lord is the Supreme Soul, and he knows everything about the living entities and their senses. The word anidram means always awake and free from ignorance. It's very important in this verse. The word anidram, meaning always, quote, always awake and free from ignorance, end quote, is very important in this verse. As stated in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 15, verse 15, Matakshmitir jnanam apohanam cha. It is the Lord who gives intelligence to everyone and who causes everyone to forget. There are millions and millions of living entities, and the Lord gives them directions. Therefore, he has no time to sleep, and he is never in ignorance of our activities. The Lord is the witness of everything. He sees what we are doing at every moment. The Lord is not covered by a body resulting from karma. Our bodies are formed as a result of our past deeds. Karmana daiva netrena. But the Supreme Personality of Godhead does not have a material body, and therefore he has no avidya, or ignorance. He does not sleep, but he is always alert and awake. The Supreme Lord is described as Tri Yuga because although he appeared variously in Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, when he appears in Kali Yuga, he never declares himself the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna Varnang Trisha Krishnang Sangopangastra Parshadam. The Lord appears in Kali Yuga as a devotee, or Chaitanya. Thus, although he is Krishna, he chants the Hare Krishna mantra like a devotee. Still, Srimad-bhagavatam, 11th Canto, 5th chapter, 32nd verse, recommends Yagnai Sankirtana Prayaya Jantihi Sumeda Shaha. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, whose complexion is not black, like that of Krishna, but is golden, Tvisha Krishnam, is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. He is accompanied by associates like Nityananda, Advaita, Gadadhar, Srivas. Those who are sufficiently intelligent worship this Supreme Personality of Godhead by performing the Sankirtan Yagya. In this incarnation, the Supreme Lord declares himself not to be the Supreme Lord, and therefore he is known. He declares himself not to be the Supreme Lord, and therefore he is known as Tri Yuga. Which some people knew, Lord Chaitanya's intimate followers knew who he was. But if they called him, they referred to him as the Supreme Lord, he would say, no, cover his ears. He wouldn't tolerate it because he's appearing in the mood of a devotee, and he didn't want anyone to. There's so many people that claim to be God who are not God. So here he is, a devotee, acting as a devotee, and someone actually understood his position and claimed that he was God, he would deny it as a devotee, who of course is not God, would deny. And of course there's we say the spiritual master is to be honored and respected just like God. And in the early days, this is before I joined, so I heard about this from others who were there at the time. Srila Prabhupada, at the very first initiation, Srila Prabhupada did, and a few devotees got initiated. And then the next is when Srila Prabhupada was still in that storefront temple. It's still there in New York, 26 Second Avenue. So he was there, and they were all there, and they did an initiation. And then the next morning, when the devotees got up, they saw on the kitchen door a note. Srila Prabhupada wrote that anyone duly initiated, I don't know exactly the wording, but I'll paraphrase, but anyone who's initiated must every day chant 16 rounds of the Hare Krishna mantra on their beads, minimum 16 rounds, must abstain from those eating meat, those sex, intoxication, gambling, and must attend Mongol Arti, like that, and must, I forget what all it said, but anyway, Sripad expected that if we were initiated, we're not just initiated, it's not just a one-time ceremony. It means you're actually committing to supporting and helping to spread Lord Chaitanya's Sankirtan movement. So it said like that, and somewhere in there, and then they asked Srila Prabhupada, of course I think it didn't really hit until after the initiation. Means we got to do all these things. Srila Prabhupada had to start somewhere. So okay, you talk about it, but this actually applies to me now. So, but anyway, Srila Prabhupada had to put that out there as the beginning, and then they asked Srila Prabhupada, and how should we see you? How should we relate to you? And he says, like God. So of course they go like, what's this? Srila Prabhupada is preaching all along. Spiritual master never claims to be God. So why does he tell us that we should see him like God? So of course they obviously had to go back to Srila Prabhupada and ask, what's going on here? You've been teaching us all along how bad it is that spiritual master claims to be God, and now you're saying we should see you like God. Of course, he explained, yes, the spiritual master is to be respected, given as much respect as you would give to God, because he's representing God, because he's delivering God's message. So this is a system. So you have to see the spiritual master in that way. And anyway, that was the beginning, and then and even though Srila Prabhupada clearly explained it, and it was all, of course, so much was in his books also, but still, wasn't that long after that, because it was within a couple of years after that, some of those same devotees that were initiated in the very beginning, before I joined, there were some sannyasis, and they got confused, and they were actually going around to temples and preaching that, Srila Prabhupada would come here more often to your temple, but you're offending him because you don't understand that he's actually God, like that. And so, of course, those devotees also got confused because they knew that Srila Prabhupada was preaching that the spiritual master never claims to be God. But here's these, what were the senior devotees in the movement at that time, maybe 2 or 3 years in the movement at the time. This was early on. And so they were claiming, so they're saying that Srila Prabhupada is upset with you because you're not understanding that he's actually God. So Srila Prabhupada came to know about that, because somebody obviously contacted Srila Prabhupada to say, what is this preaching that they're doing? And then he cut it very fast. And he called all of his most senior devotees together at that point, senior disciples, and set everything straight. He says, you know what this is? Don't you recognize this? This is Mayavad philosophy. It's all one. It's all one. I'm God, you're God, everyone's God, like that. It's not our philosophy. It's what we're fighting against. So Srila Prabhupada had to set that straight because some devotees got confused. Even though Srila Prabhupada always said it exactly what it was, some devotees were getting confused and thinking, well, actually, maybe we misunderstood Srila Prabhupada. He is God. But no, Srila Prabhupada is not God. He's a pure representative of God, and anyone who follows after Srila Prabhupada, serving as a capacity of spiritual master, is also representative of God, and not directly God, like that. Anyway,
I heard the proper attitude would be to think that I am a devotee of the devotee of the devotee.
Yes. Actually, Krishna says in Bhagavad Gita that one who claims to be my devotee, he is not my devotee. But one who claims to be the devotee of my devotee, he is my devotee. So same idea. We don't claim that I have a personal, direct relationship with God. We don't claim like that. We don't. I mean, in fact, we don't. We do, but we don't know it right now. So eventually we will. But we're in the material world. So when the spiritual master, when one becomes, Srila explains in the, where does he explain it? It's a nectar of instruction. I forget exactly which purport right off. But he said, it's talking about the different kinds of devotees. It's third class, second class, first class. So first class devotee is like Srila Prabhupada, just perfect, liberated, fully realizing his relationship with Krishna, like that. And when one comes to that level, in reality, they don't have any duties because our duties, as far as the material world go, are all about how to become Krishna conscious. But still, Srila Prabhupada said that even when one comes to that becomes fully liberated, as long as he's in the material world, he has to act like a neophyte. Neophyte means one who's not fully liberated yet. We have to act like neophyte. So, and it's important.
You mean he has to act like neophyte on purpose?
Yeah, but neophyte doesn't mean that you're. Yes, he does. But let me explain what that means. Neophyte doesn't mean just like someone may walk off the street and stumbling around that they haven't quite gotten off their drugs and stuff, or whatever they were doing before they became a convert. That's hardly even neophyte. That's even below neophyte. Neophyte here means we are considered neophyte. We're practicing. So, and we have to consider ourselves. We should consider ourselves like that always, because until we become fully Krishna conscious, then we have to work really hard to become Krishna conscious. Now, when one becomes fully Krishna conscious, when they actually become fully Krishna conscious, like Srila Prabhupada, for themselves they don't need to do anything. But such a devotee who's in the material world, when you become fully liberated, still they act as though I have to follow the process as an example for others. Because Srila Prabhupada told us chant 16 rounds a day. He also chanted 16 rounds a day. He chanted regular japa. He of course followed the regular principles. He told us to dedicate our life to the service of Lord Chaitanya's movement, and which he also did, like that. So everything that he has told us to do so that we can become Krishna conscious, he was also doing, not to become Krishna conscious, but as an example. Once Srila Prabhupada was just reading this recently, it was in the Srila Prabhupada Nectar book. Srila Prabhupada was, I don't know where he was, but he was not feeling well. He had a bad cold or something. He's not feeling well, and he could have, and rightfully, not bothered to come to give the class that morning, Srimad-bhagavatam Class. But he said, no, I must go. I must go, because if I don't go, then every time someone gets a little not feeling good, they'll say, well, Srila Prabhupada, he wasn't feeling good, he didn't come. So why do I have to come? And of course, nobody knows if we're feeling good or not feeling good, right? Except for us. So we could, anytime, anyone could say, I just wasn't feeling well today. I haven't been feeling well for the last month or so. That's why I haven't come to Mongol Arctic at anything, because I'm sure Prabhupada showed that, but he didn't come because he was not feeling well. So Srila Prabhupada took that position. He says, if I don't go there and do that service, then everyone will use that as an excuse why they should not do that service, coming to the program, chanting the rounds, and so on. And so on. Another point here. This is very important. Shishi Gauratai, Shishi Radha Brajavihari, Devanath, Balaram, Lady Subhadra, Ki Jai. Shri Prahlad Maharaj, Ki Jai. So, Krishna Varnang Twisha Krishnang Sangopang Gastra Parshadam. Krishna Varna. The exact translation is not given here. It's paraphrased. But there's certain verse, even though Lord Chaitanya himself would deny being God, all the important incarnations have been predicted. So there are some verses predicting the appearance of Lord Chaitanya, and this is one of them. Yagnai Sankirtana. And Yagnai Sankirtana Prayar Yajantihi Sumeda Shaha. So those who are intelligent, Sumeda Saha, they will perform the Sankirtan Yagya. They perform the Sankirtan sacrifice. If we're intelligent, they will. That means if we're intelligent, then we join the Hare Krishna movement. So intelligence doesn't mean you got a PhD. You might have a PhD in something. You may have an IQ of 195, which is about as high as it goes, almost. So many things that people use to describe how intelligent somebody is. But actual intelligence is not that. Actual intelligence means means spiritual intelligence. Someone can be very, very intelligent materially and be an atheist. So what's the use of it? In fact, if someone is very, very intelligent materially, they're more likely to become an atheist because they think I can figure out anything, I can do anything, like that. There's no, I can explain why everything happens the way it does in the world. I can fix any problem because I'm very intelligent. If I don't know how to do something right now, I can figure it out because I'm so intelligent. So big intelligence materially, but foolish because they're thinking that I can do all these things, and therefore either there is no God or I don't need God but they don't realize, they don't think about where did that intelligence that I have come from. Many material scientists are like that, very intelligent in the material sense, but because they have that material intelligence, then they still come to the conclusion many times, most of the time I'd say, that there is no God. And those same material scientists, if they're teaching also, if they're professors like that, they're teaching in the colleges, universities, and they are convinced that there is no God, or they're at least not convinced that there is a God, then of course their teaching will also go on to their students. And the students will be, maybe just to pass the course, they have to kind of go along with it for a few years, which is really bad. So Srila Prabhupada refers to the schools, material schools, as mental or intellectual slaughterhouses. So there's slaughterhouse like when animals are killed. But there's also slaughterhouse that destroys your good sense of thinking, because you become so confused by hearing things which are not true, things that you get. A lot of times students, they go off to college, and they may be a very maybe they were going to Sunday school or to some kind of youth group, church group like that for years, many years, and then you go off to college, and then but you're taught, if you want to pass the course, then you're being taught other things, just like someone may grow up in a say Christian background, and you're taught God created the world in 7 days, and there's and beginning first people were Adam and Eve and others who were there at the time, and so on like that. And then you go to school, and you're basically taught that this is all just storybook, and that the real thing, the real knowledge is that there was just a big explosion sometime, and everything just started happening on its own, by accident and without any controller. And then you start thinking, well, how do I know? Has anyone actually seen God? You know, the mind intelligence become very confused, which is why we, in Krishna consciousness, we give a lot of emphasis on philosophy, because Srila Prabhupada says, actually quoting his spiritual master, it's a very famous statement, or at least we use it, we've heard it a lot of times. Philosophy without religion is mental speculation, and religion without philosophy is sentiment, and sometimes becomes fanaticism, right? Which we have practical experience of this. So both things have to be there. And what it means is that religion means, the laws of God, the rules and regulations, and here's what you have to do. But it's sentiment in a sense, that you're just accepting it, but you don't understand philosophically the basis. Well, why there's a philosophical basis behind those laws, and at the same time, if you have philosophy, it says philosophy without religion is mental speculation. And that means that if you can be a big philosopher. There's so many philosophers, but some philosophers come up with conclusions of, like, there's a philosophy called determinism, I think, determinism or something like that. Determinism means that everything, there's no God, there's no controller, and the universe somehow or other has everything's pre-programmed, and everything that we do in our life is we're just being forced to do, which means we have no free will, and we have no we're not responsible for anything. So based on that philosophy, which is certainly a godless philosophy, someone could go out and kill someone and say, well, I was just forced to do it. It's just part of what I'm programmed to do, right? That's one kind of philosophy, which is philosophy without religion. Philosophy without religion means that the conclusion of your philosophy, if the conclusion of your philosophy is that there is no God, or if your conclusion isn't, if philosophy doesn't take you to the point of there is a God and you're a servant of God and you surrender to God, if your philosophy takes you to that point, then it's a philosophy without religion. Religion means the conclusion has to be God. So if your philosophy is taking you to the conclusion that there is no God, God does not exist, or you are God, we're all God, it's all one, that kind of philosophy is a philosophy without religion. And have religion, all the rules, regulations, and what you're told you have to do, but you have no understanding why. God, just like we have, God is the Supreme Lord. We are small jiva souls. Life comes from there's life in this body from the point of that the soul is there. See, so you don't have that. If you don't have that some basic understanding, then how do you run your life? It's just like is an issue, and it becomes an issue in certain religious groups too. Is abortion okay? Is it good? Is it bad? There's some arguments on both sides, but you say, but if you understand that abortion means that you're killing, and from the moment there's pregnancy, when the human being is about this size, and it doesn't have any arms, legs, or anything, but there's the soul's there. If there's growth, then there's obviously life. But if your philosophy, or you don't have a philosophy that makes that clear, then the decision about abortion, for example, is, what do you base it on? Oh, well, you come to some conclusion that, okay, well, there's not life until, I don't know what month they're saying now, what the latest is there's such and such a point, maybe there's some movement, or there's some brain waves, or there's something there, and then they say there's life. So before that, you can kill, because there's actually no life there, because there's no soul, there's no life. But in reality, there is life there, and because nothing grows without life. The fact that there's growth, that means there's life, there's a soul there. But that we understand that from our philosophy. If there's no philosophy, and you're told, and maybe your religion doesn't make it clear, even in religious groups, it's like, is it okay? Is it bad? Is it good? Is it bad? How do you know? Because there's not a philosophical basis behind it. So that's why we study. I'm over time. That's why we study our philosophy that leads us to the point of surrendering to Krishna. That is why that's very important. I'm over time, but any questions?
No, I think I'm good. I want to just about what material education would imply, what you just talked about.
Yeah.
Oh, the only thing is 6 opulences.
6 opulences. Anyone who has anyone who's attractive to anyone, even if you look out there in the material realm, if someone if somebody is attractive, they've got one or more of these opulences to some degree. Wealth, strength, beauty, knowledge, renunciation, and what am I missing?
Fame?
Didn't I say fame? Fame is one of them, yes. Wealth, strength, knowledge, renunciation, fame, and beauty. Yeah, there's 5. So Krishna has all these opulences as, unlimited. The word, Krishna's name, Bhagavan, actually is broken down to mean one who has all 6 opulences in full, complete. There's no limit to Krishna's, how beautiful Krishna is, how famous Krishna is. Everyone's heard about God. Believing in him or not believing in him, but everyone's heard about God. Krishna certainly is the most intelligent, has the most knowledge. He knows everything. No one can be stronger than Krishna. Krishna held up the Govardhan Hill on this little finger for 7 days without any difficulty. No strain. He never strained his finger. And Krishna has all these things, and yet he's completely renounced. He's not even attached to any of it. It's just strength, knowledge, beauty, wealth. No one's more wealthy than than God. He owns everything. 1 + 1 = 1, like that. So no one is more has these opulences in greater form than God can have them. Yeah. Let me see if there's anyone. No one asks questions on lions these days. Okay, any questions? Okay, so I guess we have to end now. I'm gone over my quota. So if we end here, Srila Prabhupada ki